Thank you, directors. I really appreciate Mickey's historical background. I think that really was helpful and really a smart thing to do to try to set the facts straight, because apparently we can't really get them here. Anybody who really wants to know what happened and how these questions and issues have never been answered need to go ahead and just read themselves reports like the build-out reduction program that doesn't really do anything to reduce build-out. I didn't even get a packet, so I don't have that PowerPoint. It's completely confusing the way the numbers were put up there, so I can't even refer to something like that now, and of course it's not on the board, so this is the kind of thing that you need to have in a workshop where you need facilitation and people can actually spend the time to explain what these numbers really mean and say why they disagree with the numbers that are being presented up here. One of the numbers that isn't up here is build-out reduction, $38 million. There is not one line item up there that says build-out reduction costs $38 million. Who's paying for build-out reduction? Gee, who knows? We certainly don't have ARRA funds or stimulus funds for that, do we? The mitigation, Mr. Sanders mentions mitigation. The way mitigation seems to happen around here is that the Army Corps of Engineers claims a categorical exclusion and claims that there is no damage to steelhead, Mr. Chaldecott. There is no damage to tidewater goby. That there is no damage to red-legged frog. So they basically just grant themselves a categorical exclusion, and so that Mr. Sanders doesn't have to do any mitigation. Well, that is not acceptable. What's also missing up there are the tertiary treatment of wastewater, the Warren Reservoir, off-stream storage. Mr. Sanders, we are not talking about dams. Every time we talk about something like off-stream storage, you immediately go to reservoirs and say about how, or dams.
That is not what I said.
You talk about dams and you say that dams were never going to be allowed, that it's so difficult to do the permitting for dams. We are not talking about dams. And so what happens then is the general public thinks that we're talking about dams that can never be permitted. That is not what we're talking about. Side stream, off-stream storage, you don't know what it is? Come on. It's not a dam. It's a pond.
I'm going to interrupt you right there because you're standing there telling a complete falsehood. What I said about an hour and some minutes ago is that to do side stream storage, you'd have to construct some sort of a weir. Do you know what a weir is?
Yes, I do.
You'd have to somehow divert the water from the stream and put it into some sort of a storage facility.
Okay, sure.
I didn't say you'd have to build a dam to do side stream
no, it was
storage.
your next sentence that said dams are not going to be permitted. And so you say it together as if we're talking about dams.
There is at least one alternative
You're
there
amazing.
that involves the construction of a dam.
Okay, well, we're not talking about the construction of dams.
Okay.
What you don't have up there,
Thank you.
you do have dams up there, and you conveniently say dams are not permitted. So therefore, you eliminate dams from your matrix. What you don't have up there, it's what the sins of omission are as bad, maybe even worse in my mind, than the ones of commission.
I'm going to challenge you one more time because, again, you're telling a falsehood. I did not insinuate, imply, etc., that side stream storage, whatever that is, involves the construction of a dam. I did say it would involve the construction of a weir or using some other means to extract the water from the two streams.
I agree with you. You did not say it calls for construction of a dam.
That's
right.
You
said, after I said that side stream storage would be permitted, and you could do it, what you said, your next sentence was, dams are not permitted and would not be allowed. So the inference is that we are talking about dams. Do you see what I'm saying?
Go ahead. Conclude your remarks.
Saltwater intrusion is an invisible boogeyman that you can't see and we can't see. So therefore, it's a nice little football that you keep tossing back and forth as if we need to have fresh water for saltwater intrusion, which of course we probably do. The problem with it is that you use saltwater intrusion to say that we can't do certain water alternatives, and at the same time for desal, we can use all that fresh water that you're saying at the same time needs to prevent saltwater intrusion, we can suddenly use to dilute the brine.
We use treated water to prevent saltwater
intrusion. We're also going to use
fresh water.
You're going to use treated water. Well, I'd have to look back at the Water Master Plan about that, but okay. I'll read it, the 500 pages again.
It'd be a good idea if you did that.
The other thing is that the cost analysis, this board is just talking about a cost analysis for Whale Rock, but we've never seen a cost analysis for Whale Rock. So this is just a verbal cost analysis that you're doing right now for the community. That's just not acceptable.
Well,
We
the
should
cost
really
analysis is in the water master plan.
Okay. So, and then the agencies that you say are opposed to dams and that would really have major issues with something like a dam are also the agencies that have major issues with desalination. These are the hundreds of pages of agency letters that were never reviewed in a public forum. Those agencies are the U.S. Fish and Wildlife had an issue with geotech drilling. NOAA had an issue with geotech drilling. The Slope Air Quality Control Board had an issue with geotech drilling. The California Department of Fish and Game had major issues with geotech drilling, and so did the California State Heritage Commission. So to say that the desal and geotech drilling has no environmental problems and as compared to other water alternatives is just really not right.
I don't think anybody said that.
Thank you.
Thank you.